Hey, well,
Hi Charlie, how are you?
good. How are you, man?
Not too bad.
Good.
What's it like here? Sheltered?
Yeah, it does have pretty good shelter. It's not really windy though, is it? So
Yeah, it's not too bad.
it's pretty nice actually. I feel like it's gonna get much colder. We'll have to run up and get some bobs at half time, I reckon.
You reckon?
Maybe see how it goes. Doesn't really feel that, has it?
Sorry?
How many people get tonight? It's just Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not surprising, I suppose.
Yeah. So watching the live stream or not?
That's what a lot of people will be doing.
Yeah, because they're home already from work, right? So
Yeah.
can't make it out.
You okay? Good enough, Kate? Yeah, nice. Do that one again. Yeah.
This lighting is so much better than KG5.
Yeah, no, it isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess all the lighting's good. The footy lighting.
Yeah.
I guess that's just down to the good lighting over here as well because it's like smaller pitch, easier to line up. Right? Yeah, you see very clear. Cool getting nighttime photos.
Sorry?
Different getting nighttime photos.
Oh,
I guess.
yeah. It's shocking.
Yeah,
It's shocking.
but good at this ground though.
It's better,
But still,
but my equipment's only entry level.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There was a guy at KG5 last Friday night, a professional photographer. He normally photographs hockey,
Yeah.
but he came along to the soccer and he had a lens, $10,000.
10 grand for a lens.
10 grand for a lens. And when he showed me the photos, you could see why.
Is that like a massive one that they have?
It's a 200mm, this is 300.
Okay, yeah.
His was a 200mm, but f2, and it was a prime lens. In other words, it wasn't a zoom.
Yeah, alright.
So that's the way to go, you know. They're really heavy because they're glass, and I mean, you'd you'd be struggling to get the guys in this zone. So you'd have to have your zones picked out, and you can only photograph in that zone.
Yeah, right.
So that's the downside of it.
Yeah.
But in terms of quality, geez.
It's like real, it's 10 grand worth.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be happy to photograph in zones if I had one of those.
Yeah. You just keep spending on equipment, can't you?
Well, people say to me, why don't you upgrade your equipment and that? And I said, well, the Advocate used one of my photos from South Hobart on Monday.
Yeah.
Why? You know, I mean, the blog, it doesn't matter if you've got a $10,000 lens or a $500 lens, it's all the same. Because they're not exactly poster size, are they?
Yeah.
You know, so.
I mean, all you need is good enough to, decent quality, you don't need to put the top, right?
I always say, look, if newspapers use them, it's good enough.
Good enough, yeah. Yeah,
Welcome to Lightwood Park for a little bit of midweek NPL Tasmania action. The Kingborough Lions taking on the Olympia Warriors here on a Wednesday night. A fairly cool kind of an evening here at the Den. But it should be a hot battle on the pitch indeed between two teams very eager to pick up 3 points for somewhat different reasons. The Warriors looking to push on with their title bid, close that gap. They can jump back over the top of Devonport with a win today, at least temporarily. Whilst Kingborough, after a promising start, picking up a couple of good wins over Clarets and Riverside, games that expect to win. They've faltered somewhat against some of the competition bigger guns in recent times. They get another chance to test themselves this evening. I'm Andrew Cooling. Joining me to call the action this evening, Paul Hunter. Very good evening, sir.
Good evening, Andrew Cooling. Pleasure to be here as always down at the Den for what is the best view from a media box in Tasmania. It's no wonder we're absolutely jam-packed up here today. Everyone finally getting a glimpse of what we get to see here every week. It's fantastic to see as both teams getting ready to get out there. It is 8 o'clock, just for those on NPL Tas kickoff watch time out there. I know there's a fair few noticing a trend that happens here. I'm expecting a pretty good contest between the Lions and the Warriors. As you mentioned, Warriors have had a few of their quote-unquote easier matches recently, but they'll be probably face a slightly tougher test tonight, I'd imagine.
I'll tell you what, we're going to be very close to starting on time for once in our lives here, it would seem. Kingborough Lions lineup, number 1, Mitchell Stalker in net. Joel Samet, already a little game against his former side, just a week after joining. Cameron Steele, the American we saw debut the other night. Nick Cuthbertson will play at centre-half alongside Noah Smithy Sharples. Danny Cohen, you'd imagine, leads the line. Joel Schuth has been playing at centre-back, so we'll see where he lines up. I'm not sure where we might see a back three. And it's Joel Scout, in fact. Just old habits have just crept up on me there. Apologies, Joel. Scout, number 12, Dom Easton. Number 13, Keenan Dowse has been in good form down the right. Phil Kansos, a lively player. Jacob Brennan will line up on the left. Chris Downs on the bench is the interesting news there. McDonald, Hall, Bigger, and Zammit. The rest of the team will skip on to the Olympia Warriors quickly because it would seem we are actually going to kick off somewhere near 8 o'clock for once, which is just staggered me. But number 1, Kyle McDonald there. He returns for his first game after the red card in his last outing against Riverside. Lucas Hill makes his return to the starting lineup after that broken nose from the Adam McEwen goal. Point of contention, fair to say, amongst the Warriors faithful. John O'Ladich and Nicholas Mearns, I'd imagine, will play in midfield together. Paul Stevens has formed a good partnership with Hill at the back. Jack Ryan will lead the line. Jacob Lehman probably in at left back. Jonathan Malungala, rewarded for his heroics off the bench last week. He gets a start, as does another youngster in Jake Thompson. Jake Vandermeer rounding out the 11. So a little bit of squad rotation here tonight from Rob Clark. A very strong looking bench with the king of the Andals, Joffrey Nkoso there, one of the form players of the competition. Not sure if he's just looking after him, just pretty heavy schedule for the Warriors coming up. Keep the Ferrari fresh if possible because he's been in terrific form. Warren Wazzawa on the comeback trail from injury there as well. Brayton Allen, young Benny Curtis, and the backup keeper, Darby Randall. What are you expecting here this evening, Paul?
Well, I think the Warriors will go into the match as a pretty strong favourite, especially given their recent form. There was only that slightly scrappy 1-0 win over Launceston City over the weekend with Malungala getting that 86th minute winner. He has come on strong, made a couple of sub-appearances earlier, but good to see him get a start here tonight. And as you've mentioned, plenty of firepower on that bench. Malungala will probably take Joffrey Nkoso's position as a like-for-like swap in the starting lineup for those more used to the Warriors setup. And yeah, Lucas Hill, good to see the mountain back after copping a little bit of a clip, a bit of a landslide appearing just off the mountain there earlier on. So good to have him back. And I'll be honest, I'm probably going to tip a Warriors win here by 2 or 3 goals as we get underway temporarily.
Full start, but we'll now kick off properly. Lucas Hill rolling it back, and that is interesting to see. Lucas Hill perhaps playing in attack this evening, so a bit of a shift and a surprise perhaps this evening. We'll see how long that lasts as Vandermeer is partnering Stevens in the middle of defence on the early vision we're seeing here.
It's good scout work there from Rob Clark, noticing that Joel Scutt and the height they have at the back there with the Stork Cuthbertson. We've got the Stork versus the Mountain here by the looks of it to start with.
Towering battle that one as Ladich works it past. This one swept forward. Easily gathered there by Stalker.
I wonder if he's looked back at the Olympia South Hobart game and saw that Ryan was occasionally beaten out in the air, just pure to height. Obviously they won that night, but a good bit of self-scouting there, I think, as well from the Warriors.
Could also just want to get a few minutes into the legs of the likes of Jake Vandermeer. Yeah, we've obviously got a lot of games coming up over the next month. I'll rotate a little bit. Lucas Hill more than capable in midfield, but a little surprised to see him staying there as this one's worked to Danny Cowan at the top of the box. Try to turn free. Cancels, lays it back, and a snapshot flies over the crossbar. The first chance of the evening, and in fact it's taken a slight deflection, so it will be a corner for the Lions, though no Chris Downs in the starting lineup to take.
And we did see Cameron Steele take most of the corner kicks last week. Didn't quite get free kick duty off Chris Downs, and then as soon as he did that, Keenan Dowse is going to take this corner. So real rotation on the set pieces as well. Surprised to see Chris Downs on the bench. I wonder if it's injury related or again just swapping players over. Corner whipped into the middle, looking for a flick there from Cuthbertson. Wanted that a bit higher up, I think. And eventually cleared by the Warriors. Back to Steele, who's going to put another one in the mixer. Beaten out by the Warriors. Lanich leaves it for the Mountain, Lucas Hill. Sprays it out wide before looking down the line in the Ryan direction. Rolls the defender. Jack Ryan with the first shot, but a pretty tame effort there. Falling into the grateful arms of Mitch Stalker.
Yeah, just one-on-one with his former teammate Joel Samet there. Probably would be very familiar with him from training that he's not going to be the physical matchup for him, and Ryan just looked to use his strength to beat him out there. But, here is Joel Samet now. A chance to swing ones forward, away by Vandermeer, deflected off of Stevens. And it's played back there by Thompson. Lofted forward onto the head of Ryan. A little nod down to Lucas Hill under close checking though from Cameron Steele. The man of Steele will spread it out wide for Keenan Dowse. A little bit of room for Keenan to swing something to Danny Cowan. It was an ambitious effort, the volley from well out, but flying over the top. Kingborough, a positive opening couple of minutes here with the first couple of attacks of the game.
Saw this on Friday night as well. Kingborough settling into the game a bit easier or quicker than their opposition. Just looking there, I reckon they're rocking a back five there tonight. The Lions with Samet and Dowse as wingbacks, Smithy Sharple, Scutt and Cuthbertson all managing to be in the starting lineup. So something different from Greg Calvert for this occasion.
I think something had to change after the Knights game the other night. Certainly wasn't happy post-game, Greg Calvert, and knew that something would have to change, and perhaps the formation tweak will just secure things at the back, because they were a bit of a leaky boat against the Knights. After that first 15 minutes, they really faded out of that contest. As Scott has been really impressive this year. That one not so impressive, cut out by Cuthbertson. Thompson back to Paul Stevens. Vandermeer. Wide he goes for Jacob Lehman. Lehman looking to nail down the starting left-back spot in this Warriors team. It's been on the cusp for a few seasons now. Long ball for Ryan. Brings it down pretty nicely there. Laid it off. A chance for Mearns. It's just dinking one in. Cuthbertson away from Olungula, gets dragged down. Play allowed to continue. Deflected shot. Flies over the bar, and we'll have the first corner of the evening for the Warriors.
Bit more promising there from the Warriors. Good to see Malungala getting into good areas from the attacker, and then also a deflected shot over the bar. Looking out at the Lions' home end. Pretty chilly night out there for them. Do enjoy the fire pot action. We do have a fair few of them around the NPL Tas, Launceston City as well. It'll be Scott to take the corner kick. 2, 3, 4, 5 in the box with Malungala on the keeper. Bit of a height difference there between him and Stalker. Scott goes near post. Eventually going to be clipped by Ryan. Scott gets a toe in. And too much stud showing there from the Olympia striker. Free kick will go the way of the Lions. Stalker looks up and Danny Cowan has both arms raised in the air long. Doesn't quite go that direction. Stevens manages to get the header. Hill actually whacked Falderani. Wants a free kick off Cuthbertson there, and the Stork has conceded it.
Bit cold out there, but certainly no strong wind or anything. Not a bad night for football, all things considered, for these teams. I think there will certainly be some colder nights down at the Den to come this season, but pretty good conditions for the players this evening, and the surface is just looking absolutely fantastic. It is like carpet out there. So no excuses for the players this evening as Vandermeer whips this one wide, and be a chance for a cross to come in, but it was a poor hit in the end. Never looked like giving Ryan anything to attack there. Nick Mearns capable of much better than that.
Yeah, he's usually gets into that sort of area, crossing directly from that close to the touchline is Mearns. More of a accustomed to playing nice through balls through the centre.
Seems to be spending a bit of time out on the left with Hill back in midfield. Today certainly has been shifted out wide a couple of times. That's just the flow of the game, or his actual position, I'm not sure. But a couple of times he's got the ball wide on the left there, and certainly not a position we're familiar with Mearns playing. Far more used to him playing centrally, but I guess when you've got Scott, Ladich and Hill in there tonight, something's got to give. This one shipped forward. Nodded down by Samet.
And I did hear the Warriors assistant coach in the post-match over the weekend saying he'd do things a bit differently regarding midweek games into the future, finding the load pretty heavy on his players. Well, maybe it's something that's come out of that as Easton now finds Phil Cantsos. Cantsos finds Danny Cohen. Now it's Steele. Good ball out wide. Keenan Dowse aims for the centre. Cleared by Ladich, and a rifling shot goes across the face of the goal. Cohen sliding in. As we'll have another look at that one. He's hit it first time, Steele, and Cohen, judging by his reaction, might be a little further away than the camera angle would indicate.
Be tough with the depth perception here at the Den. That's the one challenge we do battle, doing it from the far end of the ground here.
I was more looking at Cohen's body reaction for how close, whether he was fingernails or about 10 feet away from that one. As the long ball's taken over the top. Smithy Sharples gets a call from his keeper. Absolute booming kick there from Mitch Stalker. He's in the other 18-yard box. Scott manages to clear. It's now Ladich back to Thompson. Warriors looking to get their foot on the ball a little more here. It was Mearns coming inside. Now he's a diagonal ball towards Ryan. Just couldn't quite get the visuals on that one to take it down. He maybe had the opportunity to try and pluck it out of the air first time rather than letting it bounce.
Yeah, Stalker wasn't quite at the top of his box there, was he? He did just leave the opening for the Englishman. Couldn't quite take it as Cuthbertson switches it up to Joel Samet. Samet down the line for Cantsos. Has charged off down the wing here. He's got a man unmarked if you can work it to him, but some good defensive tracking there. Be another corner for the Lions. Certainly made a positive start here this evening. They're after a response after last week's loss to the Knights so far. We'll see if they can sustain it though, which will be their challenge. As we said last week, they were pretty good out of the blocks, but after the 15-minute mark just faded. This one swung to the back stick over all comers, and that will be behind for a McDonald goal kick. 10 minutes gone. The Lions will be the slightly happier of the two thus far.
Yeah, I think they would be. I think the next 10 minutes is the most important. They look good the first 10 minutes on Friday, but I think they want a full 45 and indeed a full 90 performance out of their side, so they won't be resting on their laurels just yet. As Lehman exchanges passes with Vandermeer. Now finds Scott. He'll be used to pretty cool dark evenings in his time playing in the UK. It was Hill. Somehow gets a lever to that one. Smithy Sharples, another of the ex-Olympia players, heaves it clear. Ladich back to Stevens. Now it's Thompson. Stevens. He'll beat now by his opposite number 3, then goes sliding in. Advantage paid. Steele again, crunching challenge. Puts it through on goal. It's gone over the top. A gilt-edged chance.
Jake Brennan.
For the Lions. Jacob Brennan. And I wonder if there'll be a slice of cheese here as well on Stevens. He was a bit late in coming back. He was also a bit late in that challenge. I'm seeing yellows given for less.
He'll do well to avoid, and he's just got a talking to there, Paul Stevens. So perhaps somewhat fortunate. It was very strong. It was very late. And then Jake Brennan with the best chance of the game so far, and he just blasted it over the top. So a danger sign there, and a nearly shot across the bows of the Warriors. If they thought they could just coast through this one, they've been put on notice early on here by the Lions. Lucas Hill couldn't quite reach that one. One back by Easton. Now Cameron Steele looking to have some influence here, and that's a clever little ball in behind. They're lining up in the middle. Cut back found Vandermeer though. The Warriors will clear the danger. Nice work there from Steele. Jack Ryan now chesting down for Lucas Hill. Dominic Easton quick to win it back again. It's twice in quick succession he's won the ball back for his side. They've copped it up to Malunga here. Couldn't get past Cuthbertson. Flick from Kantos misdirected. Now Thompson. Treats to Stevens. Englishman Scott is chipping it up over the top to his compatriot Jack Ryan. Thompson charging forwards. Back to Ryan. He's one to the top of the box, away by Keenan Dowse, but it'll come back by Jacob Lehman. Wide for Mearns. Mearns for Lehman, who's continued his run. That's really nicely done by his former teammate Smithy Sharples. It was slightly dicey playing it out once he'd won it back. Warriors just keeping the Lions hemmed in here at the moment. A little spell of sustained pressure, and they knock it around the back and reload. They'll tack down the right through Thompson now. Hill. Back to Ladich. No one presenting up at him. Just kind of waiting up around the penalty area. So instead, they'll just knock it around the back once more. Now they pull the trigger looking for the height of Lucas Hill. Cranes his neck, works it back, away by Scout. Out of play, but the Warriors just starting to get their foot on the ball a little here.
And they're certainly keeping the ball in their attacking half for the majority of that last couple of minutes. Did the Warriors. And playing pretty patient as well. The temptation with by putting Hill and Ryan up in a more advanced positions. The tempting is to bomb it forward, but they're keeping it on the deck well as Scott goes back to Hill. I think he wanted the return ball there, Jordan Scott, when the defensive midfielder goes striding forward and then plays a nice dummy, and Scott leaves that one into the Warriors bench. I'll look to reload on this near touchline. Stevens. To be fair to the Lions, they're not really pressuring any of the Warriors' defenders. Keeping pretty compact in their 5-4-1. As Lehman now goes for a jaunt, finds Malungala. Trying to play the 1-2. Dowse can't quite keep that one in. It's a methodical start to this game, I think is the word I'm thinking of.
And not a bad adjective for the first 15 minutes here at Lightwood Park. Warriors just trying to get a foothold in this game after they've faced a little bit of early pressure, but Jack Vandermeer will eventually present an option here for Lehman. Scott. Back to the experienced centre half. His defensive partner Paul Stevens now. Slides it through for Ladich. Top of the box, Ryan lays it off for Hill, who pulled it just past the post, but it wasn't far away. It's the nicest footballing move we've seen from the Warriors thus far. And Lucas Hill, within a whisker of opening the scoring there, just didn't quite catch his shot as he intended.
Now, he got a bit too much heel rather than the laces there, or the top of the foot did the mountain, but good move moving from one side to the other there from the Warriors. Certainly the most clear-cut chance of the half. Lucas Hill, hope he's had some shooting practice in the last couple of training sessions. It was surely handball, but play on given. Dowse There's Brennan down the line, but Douse goes centrally. Oh, clearance missed. Eventually, it's going to turn out to Thompson there, I think, bailing out his centre backs. Confusion at the back for the Warriors, and they've nearly turned it over again here, but Scott, composed play, finds Lehman. Now, really looking to play through Jordan Scott at every opportunity so far of the Warriors. Searching ball down the line, which Malungala will run onto. Cuthbertson clears.
Working hard in attack, isn't he, the youngster? That ball I thought was initially meant for Jack Ryan, and then Malungala's come flying in from behind and made it his own. Thompson with perhaps a chance to launch one here towards Jack Ryan. Will go short to Mearns instead. Trying to turn Kansos, gets a cross in. Overly convincingly cleared, it'll come back. Although Thompson opts just knock it down to Stevens, and they'll patiently work it out the back instead. Here's Jacob Lehman.
Seems like Ryan's now moved to left wing. Mearns at right wing. Really struggling to figure out what the Warriors are doing here at the moment, but certainly know what happened to Ryan there. He's just headed that one out for a goal kick.
I think he's just playing in the front two with Malungala and just moving around slightly, trying to get away from Nick Cuthbertson, I suspect. I mean, if he can isolate Jack Ryan one-on-one with Smithy Sharples, that's what they'll be keen to do. Obviously, Scott and Cuthbertson are much more, I suppose, a physical matchup for him. Smithy Sharples a quality young defender, but I don't think he's quite got the build to go with the Jack Ryan if the ball's launched high in the air that way. So you can understand why the experienced Englishman would just plonk himself on the shortest of the three centre-halves.
Cohen chesting that one down against Van der May, trying to win a corner for his team, manages to get a throw. He'll retreat to the centre as Keenan Dowse will look to take this one on the far side of the ground. Steele offering short, goes in that direction, gets the ball back. Dowse back to Steele. Steele opts to cross this one into the box, and Cohen gets a good head to it. And in the end, Cole McDonald catches that one comfortably, just too close to the keeper there, Cohen, but got good purchase on it, slightly behind him, and had to really crane his neck. Well, it's goal bound, so good save there from McDonald.
Scored a similar header a few weeks back down here, if I recall. Danny Cowan really leaning back, somehow got those neck muscles to work the ball into the back of the net. One of the best headers I've seen in some time. That goal from Danny Cowan wasn't too dissimilar. And Cameron Steele with 2 chances created for his side early on. It's been their main spark in attack so far.
Yeah, it's me. Saw a drop ball there. It caught all of my attention. I was trying to figure out how on earth he got a drop ball out of the situation, but anyway.
We play on. In the middle, it's Cowan swinging over the top for Brennan to track down. Jake Brennan just skipping away from the attentions of Van der May. Sold his teammate a little bit short there, and the Warriors are going to be able to play out from the back. Van der May eventually works it up there, and they'll get their way out of it, switch things up down the right instead. Play out away from the pressure. Here's Thompson. He looks up. Malungala making a bursting run for him again, but won't allow Cuthbertson to win it back down. Only as far as Nick Mearns left it behind. And then Steele came in and just whacked that one away. Stevens. Van der May. Now Jacob Lehman. Scott making a darting little run. He heads there. Scott shakes free, takes it wide, now swings in a poor looking cross straight over the top, and just needs to be giving 3 players in the box there, just got to give them something to attack ball.
Yeah, it seems like that left-hand side isn't treating them terribly well in terms of crossing from the Warriors. They've had about 4 chances down there, and just about all of them have gone out for goal kicks. As we'll see, Stalker only really had to be on guard for really 1 shot so far in the first 20 minutes. As he heaves this one quite as far as he wanted to. Kansos went to go with the flick header, falls to Malungala. And Thompson back to Van der May. We'll get it out wide to Lehman. He'll look up and probably realise he has to go back centrally, which he does. Captain Danny Cohen really barking out the instructions there to his teammates, making sure everyone keeps their shape. So it's now Malungala tries to go the turn, beaten out by Samet. Kansos will have to come back in cover. It's now Mearns. Mearns looking for Ladich, but well intercepted from Cuthbertson. And now it'll fall back to the mountain, and Olympia will go again here. Scott. Cohen shutting down the angle, so he goes out to Stevens. And he looks up and he hasn't really got a lot of options here. Now Stevens knocks it short with Lehman, and now leaves that one right down Mitch Stalker's throat.
Yeah, Lions doing a pretty good job dropping back deep in defence. No real pressing of the ball carrier there. Quite content to sit off and make the Warriors try and break them down here. And so far, the approach has worked for them through the first 22 minutes. They're causing a few problems back the other way on the counter, and they're building again here. Jake Brennan trying to make something happen, combining with Kansos. Steele steps in, knocks it back to Easton. Why'd they go for Dow? Steele hurrying out after this one, just got there ahead of his marker. Wants to get on to the left here, Steele. Eventually just knocked it off short there. Keenan Dowse, who tries to go the long way around and then cuts inside. It's nice work here from Keenan Dowse. Top of the boxes, Brennan manufactures a shot. But nothing doing there.
He got a corner out of it, so not too bad there from Brennan. Probably hit that first time. As you saw at home, I think we had the best view of the park at that, at just how open he was, but I think he wanted it on his right. Does take a deflection off Mearns in the end. It did come to his right foot first time. I reckon he would have tried to wrap that one into the far corner. In the end, it'll be Keenan Dowse at the Lions' third corner of the game. Launches that one to the back. And headed clear by Thompson. Well, a free player over for the Lions in Dominic Easton. Rob Clark there fully rugged up. Got the official jacket, gloves, beanie and puffer on.
Yeah, it's that kind of an evening out there. Certainly quite content up here in the media box this evening, Paul. So this one's thrown in, headed away. Lucas Hill gets there, and now he looks to turn on the afterburners. Charging through the middle, tried to spring in Jack Ryan behind, couldn't do so. Dominic Easton spreads the play to Dowse. Slightly heavy touch. Just let in Lehman, who impacted the initial pass. Easton, he had been good up until that point, and then just punches that one straight out of play. He's been doing some nice work in the midfield, and the area where the Warriors have just started to get more of a foothold. Last 10 minutes or so, Scott and Ladich starting to take a hold of things in there. Jack Ryan presenting short. We've seen plenty of this from the Warriors, happy to go side to side at the back. And now the diagonal for Ryan in a little bit of room here. Jack Ryan, and his pass just bounces straight off of Lucas Hill and gathered by Stalker.
Good unintentional work there from Lucas Hill, preventing the big heave there from Stalker. To be fair to the mountain, he did have that ball rifled at his knee, so I wasn't sure how he was really meant to control that. Scott finds Lehman, who's looking to go on a run, but just passed it straight to Smithy Sharples, and then he turns it straight over to Ladich. We'll now see Thompson. Good pocket of space here on the right-hand side. Malungala had the opportunity to make a run down the line there, didn't do so. And goes to Scott in the centre circle. Now Stevens has Thompson, but this time he doesn't have really anyone down the line, so he goes back to Scott. Now looks in that direction. It's Mearns trying to jink around the old teammate Samet. Gets on the left peg, whips in a good ball, which Cuthbertson just managed to get his head on for a corner. Could have glanced that one into a more dangerous area as well, so he did well there. Did the big stalk.
Good work from Mearns too, some real pace on that ball. And bought the space nicely. He's still looking to recapture his best after such a long time on the sidelines. Jordan Scott over this dead ball. Comfortably dealt with by Brennan. They'll send it out to Scott on the right again. Brennan Pressuring him. Scott turns inside onto the left, chipping it to Vandermeer at the back post. Good backtracking though from Scott. One just bounces off the corner flag. Be a throw in around the corner, and I'm not sure who Vandermeer expects to get the ball for him here. Come on, champ. What is this? You're 2 metres away from it.
It's that look of despondence, be like, where's my ball kid immediately in front of me? You poor thing, Jake.
Jeez. Spoiled, that is. Anyway, he's thrown in, looking for Ryan, turned his marker, clattered away there by Easton. And Jack Ryan, I think, has just been dished out a slice of dairy for a dive. Either that or for complaining too much and not getting a penalty after he hit the deck. Either or, he's in the book.
Either way, it's a soft slice of cheese, that one. Very, very Camembert-esque slice there for Jack Ryan.
That's why I'm more leaning towards he might have had a few words to say. Seems the more likely scenario, I think, Jack Ryan. But first slice of cheese goes his way. I think he wanted a foul, didn't get it, and might have just let his frustrations be known. Throw in taken to Vandermeer. Will he curl this one in? He does. Goes looking for that man Ryan. He was beaten by Scut though. Taken down by Brennan. Lost the ball though. Lucas Hill spreads it out to Thompson. Goes looking for Jack Ryan. Again, good work Smithy Sharples on that occasion. Then Scut with the secondary clearance. Cohen competes well against Scott, but the direction of his header not so good. Nick Mearns now. Weaving on the ball is Mearns. Swings in looking for Malungala, and I think, is that an own goal? I think it's an own goal. It's in the back of the net. I don't think Malungala got the touch. Either way, the Warriors break through here after 27 and a half minutes, and it had been coming in the last 10 or so.
All their best attacks had come down from this side. There's a good ball into the box, and I think that's come straight off the head of the Kingborough Lions defender. It's Cuthbertson, I think, knocking that one into his own goal, unfortunately. And he had to get some purchase on it as Malungala was right there on the scene, ready to fire at home or at least get a shot on target. After holding strong for at least the first 20-odd minutes, and has been the Warriors really getting on top possession-wise and just where they've had the ball the last 10 minutes, and probably deserved a goal for that as Smithy Sharples intercepts Malungala, nearly gets there. Sets a task for Keenan Dowse, which he's up to, and Lehman knocks that one out for a throw.
Frustrating though for the Lions. I reckon they've probably had about 15 minutes, give or take, each of play in the ascendancy. The Lions have created a couple of chances. Nothing comes from it. Olympia, it was just a 10-minute spell of pressure, so just built up. Eventually they get their goal as a result of it. And really disappointing to do it to yourself there. The old own goal, always a tough one to deal with. And the opening goal of a match.
I just hope they don't get their heads down too much, the Lions. I think they had that 10-minute spell last week against the Knights where they really got down and conceded more than the one goal. I've got to realise they're not out of this one by any stretch. It has been relatively even contest as Cohen now looks to try and get past Scott. Sets that one in front of him. He's probably going to aim for the corner here. Instead goes to the back post. Steele eventually getting there. Steele looks up, sizes up his options, goes back to the penalty spot where he only finds Nick Mearns. And he hits it straight to the Lions' defence, and now Keenan Dowse puts a low ball in, gets to the feet of Cohen. Cohen, I think he was going to cross that one and just whacked it into Mearns. I think Greg Calvert, the coach of the Lions, will be looking for a positive reaction to a bit of adversity here. Dowse hasn't really got a whole lot to aim for. It's 2v4 at the moment. Eventually gets to Steele. Lovely back heel from Cameron Steele. Deflected cross, spoons up in the air, cleared by Vandermeer. Falls to Kansos. Cohen looks to play the 1-2, but eventually whack clear. And Scott aims that one to Smithy Sharples. Does well to get away from Malungala and set through Joel Samet. Kansos not really making too much of an offer there, so it goes back to Scott. Left foot crossfield ball to Dowse. Now Steele Well, eventually, the Lions will just play it out through defence. Cuthbertson now looking for Samet. Again, to Kansos. Just not quite as crisp getting it across the back. The Lions here tonight as the Warriors have been.
Yeah, by the time they've executed the switch, the Warriors' defence has just rolled back across that side of the pitch. So, really having a whole lot of luck. That's a better option, though. Slightly more direct. Samet trying to track it down. Just got away from him. Picked up a bit too much speed, perhaps, there. But their best moments have come through the middle of the park when they've really looked to run at the defence, to drive at them, play those quick 1-2 passes and spring them in behind. When they've slowed things down and knocked it around the back, it really led to too many opportunities, I don't think.
No, I'd certainly agree with that. And that crossfield ball was good. It just got maybe the infamous Den slope down there. Just took a hold. Gave it a sharp turn to the left.
Can't be ruling out the slope factor.
Thompson nearly gets to that one. It's always a lot harder to play to that corner of the ground here at the Den. The other intricacies of the grounds here in the NPL Tas as Scott tries to roll his defender. That one will be a Kingborough Lions throw in about as far away from your goal as you can physically take a throw in from.
Well, this will be a good test to see how many yards he can steal. Right under the watchful eye of the AR. It might be a bit tough.
About 1.5.
Yeah, a little underwhelming, that effort, Paul.
I've seen a lot better in my time.
Yeah, could have done the fake throw, then take a few steps. There's an art to it. But, that was not well executed.
Well, you need some more dark arts training down at the Den. They need to schedule in some time on a Tuesday or a Thursday.
Well, I have offered Football Tas to put on the D licence course, the C licence course, and the B, of course. I'm happy to run the dark arts coaching course, the D licence. Anyone interested in that? Just let me know.
I can imagine you get a few pretty good guest presenters at that conference.
Yeah, I mean, part one, Dogger Brown.
Absolutely.
Bang. The art of central defending.
Shout out to our wonderful team at Solstice Digital as well for the fantastic photo of Dogger Brown almost snarling like a dog with Ken Morton protesting. It's captured at the perfect moment. I saw that this afternoon.
As the Warriors now look to get in behind, but their former teammate there, Joel Samet, defends it to Nick Mearns. Out the back to Stevens again. The tempo just lulls and they'll pick their moment. Circling the wagons a little here. The Warriors very content just to keep changing up. See if they can draw this pretty compact defensive unit out of position, then pull the trigger. And they do that now to Ryan. Lays it back for Scott. Really sit for him. He turns sharply onto the right. Scott just over the top. It wasn't a bad effort. He's a fantastic long-range shooter, this man. And not too far away. This one's just over the top. A little fake out there of Cowan and just gets that shot off so quickly. The release time is lightning.
It really is, and after Cowan dived in, there wasn't really immediate second defender help there from the Lions, so it did give Scott a good pocket of space to get the shot away as that one goes in the Brennan direction. He does very well there, Jacob Brennan, to take that one out of the sky. Tries to get past Lehman, instead knocks it to Dowse. Dowse back in the box, nearly to Kansos. Crucial header there from Paul Stevens coming back. Lightning. Fast play there from the Lions. And as you can see, Kansos was about to wrap his boot around that one. Stevens got there just in time. As Keenan Dowse will take this corner, gets good height underneath that one in the scut direction. Flicks it back to a teammate, Samet. Tempted to run down the line, but Malungala shut down the angle. Easton with, I'll assume, a miss-hit cross. Falls to Kansos. And now the Lions trying to get back into this one. It's Dowse. Tried to play the 1-2 with Cullen. Scott gets there first. Oh, crucial slip from Easton. Lets in Malungala and got a bit too much arm. And Nick Burns is not happy about the advantage not being paid. Neither is the Mountain, to be fair.
I think they got a point also, to be fair to them. It did seem to be developing pretty nicely downfield. That is despondency there from Mearns. Couldn't quite believe it. But, don't make anything of the set piece either, and the Lions back in possession here. Samet, Danny Cowan doing his usual mountain of work up top. Scott coming in hard, spills out the side, but Scott's just been pulled up for going in a little too hard, I think.
I think that's what it was for. Him and Cansos having a quick discussion about it afterwards. Joel Samet will wait for the tall timber to arrive. Tell you what, Keenan Dowse can take a nice quick free kick here, and he decides to do so. Samet, what can he do with the delivery? It's a delicious ball in. Goes for the second effort. Brennan can't quite get a foot on it. Trying to get on the right, can't get it away. It's a scrap in the box and eventually whacked clear. Does manage to find a teammate in Malungala. Back to Scott. He's surrounded by Lions. Joel Scott leaving the leg in a bit longer there. But the Lions, the Warriors at 6s and 7s at the back there after the very good quick free kick.
Yeah, the elevator doors just slammed shut on Jakey Brennan here. Just players from both sides descending before he could get a shot away here. He looks up, rolls it back in, and bang, both step in on him at that point. You don't have that long in the penalty area. You have to dance on the ball. So, some more promising signs in attack, but nothing doing there. Jack Ryan won't be able to track this one down. Too far ahead of him from Jacob Lehman, swinging it in. 7.5 to go here in the first half. For those of you at home wondering why we're maybe coming through a bit more clearly than usual, got a few technical difficulties with the effects mic on the pitch, but we'll do our best to get that sound back out for you in the second half. Until then, you can just keep enjoying the audible chocolate we're offering up, Paul.
Oh, look, it's been absolutely delicious tonight. It's been like a nice mork hot chocolate in front of a roasting wood fire on a Wednesday night. What more do you want in life? As Smithy Sharples knocks that one out to Dowse. Trying to get it back is Brennan against Scott. Lungalart can't quite get in front of Smithy Sharples. Keenan Dowse does go back to his centre back, who has time to look up, and I thought he was going to play a nice raking long ball there. Instead just hits it to Cuthbertson, who then does what Smithy Sharples was looking at doing. Just skidded off the pitch there a bit. Didn't really give Samet a huge chance to control that one. He wanted it chest or knee height, ended up hitting him square in the forehead. And Stevens to Scott, who has covered plenty of ground here in the first half. He's popped up just about everywhere. Samet gets in front of Mearns. Now plays in Cansos, who finally has some space to run into. Forced to go to the other side, but that's not too bad as Dowse is in a good amount of space out there himself. One-on-one with Lehman, who's going to try and show him the line. He does so, but concedes, I think, the throw-in.
Yeah, I think that went the wrong side of the flag as far as the Lions are concerned.
So hard to tell on the TV monitor there.
Corner opportunity here. Perhaps for Dowse. No, it will be a throw-in. So, we're right with that one. He launches the long throw, flicked on well near post, somehow stays out, then volleyed into the back of the net. The whistle had gone though. McDonald, the Warriors keeper, had been fouled, and that one is wiped off, much to the frustration of the Lions here. We have a look on the replay. Great flick on from Danny Cowan, just causing chaos at the near post. And yeah, Cansos just drove a stud into the thigh of the keeper, unfortunately.
I thought from just looking at it live that Cansos got a touch to it and hit it into the keeper, but he got all keeper there, I think.
Yeah, I think it was the right call as it was just volleyed back over and into the back of the net. Tough break, but unfortunately not to be for the Lions, and the Warriors remain a goal to the good here. And they've had a couple of warning shots here. Olympia certainly been given plenty to think about this evening by the Lions, who offered a much improved showing on last Friday night. It's Lucas Hill can combine with Ladich, but his tidiest pass, he gets another chance and then coughs it up to his opposite number. Dominic Easton the youngster who's so impressed in midfield across the first 5 weeks or so of the season. Kansos back to Scut. Samet just worked over there by the numbers, and the Warriors winning out. Jordan Scott, bit of a shirt grab on him. He didn't get a free kick advantage there, and he's just again letting his frustrations be known. As the Warriors swing one that deflects off of Easton, falls at the feet of Lucas Hill, sharply turns into space as the Mountain. Very dexterous stuff. His pass appalling though. Did Jack Ryan no favours. Gathered by Stalker.
We'll see another huge kick there from Stalker. Got a bit more air under that one than the rest, and only manages to find Vandermeer. Smithy Sharples. And it's a Douse. Now Jacob Brennan, who seems to have moved a little further inside. Douse now finds Cohen. Cohen inside the box. Vandermeer gets a toe in. Mearns finds Scott, but it's turned over back to the Lions. Dummy there from Brennan. And we'll roll out for a Warriors throw in. And see, that's what the Lions need to learn. That Dark Arts have had to steal about 8 yards there that Mearns just did. Fake throw in, let it roll down your back, keep walking away. And we'll get him in as a guest speaker as well, if necessary.
Not one who would immediately spring to mind, but yeah.
He'll do a specialty just 5 minute on throw-ins. Won't give him too big picture.
As this one's worked in towards Jack Ryan. Heavy touch from the Englishman, just took him well away from goal. The frustration there, I think, for him was a nice little chip over the top. This one played him into some good space and just couldn't control it, just bobbling straight off the shin there. And not really in a hurry to get back on side here, Jack. Just bemoaning his miss there at the moment.
Just stewing on that one as he strolls back. One of the better balls that have been played, especially over the top here tonight by the Warriors. Scott was a little square in that one, and Ryan had found a good pocket of space. So we'll see Stalker take the goal kick. Goes in the Cowan direction, who wins the header. Only finds Scott in the end. Cuthbertson took that one down well. Douse. Smithy Sharples to Scott. Samet was in a good pocket of space. Scott's completely overhit that one. Clark choosing to sort of footy kick that one about 1.5 metres. As Vandermeer finds Stevens. And Thompson looks up and only really has Ryan to aim for. Does find him. Scott tries to send it again for Thompson. Missed touch from Scott. Tries to find Hill. And the Mountain again. Can't quite get that one under his spell. It's a wasteful ball. Brennan will chase it down. Thompson. Scott under pressure from Kansos. But they've done well to get out of trouble there, the Warriors. So we're nearly at the 45th minute. Can't imagine there'll be a huge amount of stoppage time here in the first half. Probably the customary 1 minute. So that's another ball into the channels for Ryan. Ryan with a lovely back heel looking for Malungala. Cohen not far off that one, but Mearns had that one comfortably covered.
So can the Warriors find a second before the interval here? It's Lucas Hill running at them. One back by Brennan. Straight to John Ladich though. Ladich and Scott have really wrestled back control of this game in the midfield for the Warriors this evening. Just got their foot on things and allowed them to control it, and there's been a lot of this. Lions content to sit back, and Olympia content to wait for their moment. Here's Thompson. And combine with Scott. Scott with a little chip for Malungala. And nice work there from Steele, turning away from Scott there. Was the American. North Carolina, and he lays this one off to Samet. Shielding away from Thompson. In the end, a little in his back and a free kick. This might be the last Lions attacking opportunity of the first 45. Dominic Easton rolls it out to Smithy Sharples. Slightly more direct into the middle they go. Lucas Hill now for Mearns. Now Thompson. Flick inside from Ladich. Lucas Hill came sliding through. Couldn't take it away from Steele. And a little deflection off Thompson might let Jacob Brennan in here. So a late chance here for the Lions perhaps. Brennan turning into the box. Laid it back to Samet. Punches this one to the back post. Nobody at home. Well, they're working really hard to track it down and prevent it going out. In the end, it gets it to Kansos, who drives one straight at the keeper. And McDonald gets the mitts up and keeps it out, but not too far away. And good work from, I think it was it Dowse who tracked that one down on the far side?
It was Dowse who managed to push up from his right wing-back position, as that is half-time called here at the Den. Lions having a couple of good chances towards the end of the first half, but it was after going a goal down thanks to an own goal from Nick Cuthbertson. Relatively composed half from both teams. Olympia probably slightly shading it, but I do think the Lions are still in this one, Colin.
Yeah, certainly. Plenty to play for as far as they're concerned. Had more shots than their opponents in the first half and more corners too, so I think there's plenty to keep them interested. The only goal was of their own doing, unfortunately. It was right on the back of their own net. It was, the big Stork Cuthbertson just getting the body positioning wrong. Lungler doing just enough to put him off and getting his back without overtly pushing him. And that is the difference between the sides as we head into the sheds. But look, I think that the Warriors have maybe shaded possession, looked perhaps slightly sharper. But Kingborough, they've been pretty efficient on the counter-attack. They've had plenty of moments, and I think more than capable of taking something from this one, unless things change a little in the second half.
Yeah, I'd certainly agree. We did talk in that first half about heads potentially going down after conceding, but we certainly haven't seen a lot of that tonight. And I think their 5-4-1 formations work pretty well against this Warriors attack as well. Warriors have got some firepower on the bench though, so we'll see if they decide to use that early into the second half.
Yeah, and Koso obviously one you might imagine will get a run out there. Chris Downs, not sure on what his fitness status is, but I think he's one the Lions might be set to introduce if they're chasing this game, and we'll be back in around about 10 minutes' time or so to see if they can do just that. Look to Danny Cowell at the top of the box, try to turn free. Kansos lays it back and a snapshot flies over the crossbar. The first chance of the
It's
evening.
over. Corner whipped into the middle, looking for a flick there from Cuthbertson. Wanted that a bit higher up, I think. Well, looking down the line in the Ryan direction, rolls the defender. Jack Ryan with the first shot, but a pretty tame effort there, falling into the
Out
ground.
wide for Keenan Dowse. A little bit of room for Keenan to swing something to Danny Cohen. It was an ambitious effort, the volley from well out. It's just dinking one in. Cuthbertson away from Olungula, gets dragged down. Play allowed to continue. Deflected shot. Flies over the bar, and we'll have
Scott goes near post. Eventually going to be clipped by Ryan. Scott gets a toe in. Good ball out wide. Keenan Dowse aims for the centre. Cleared by Ladich, and a rifling shot goes across the face. He'll beaten out by his opposite number 3, then goes sliding in. Advantage paid. Steele again, crunching challenge. Puts it through on goal. It's gone over the top. A gilt-edged chance.
Jake Brannon
For the Lions.
Paul Stevens now. Slides it through for Ladich. Top of the box, Ryan lays it off for Hill, who pulled it just past the post, but it wasn't far away.
Ball back. Dowse back to Steele. Steele opts to cross this one into the box, and Cohen gets a good head to it. In the end, Cohen
Around and then cuts inside. It's nice work here from Keenan Dowse. Top of the box is Brennan manufactures a shot. But nothing doing. Weaving on the ball is Mearns. Swings in looking for Malungala, and I think, is that an own goal? I think it's an own goal. It's in the back of the net. I don't think Malungala got the touch. Either way, the Warriors break through here after 27.5 minutes. And it had been coming in the last 10 or so.
2v4 at the moment. Eventually gets to Steele. Lovely back heel from Cameron Steele. Deflected cross, spoons up in the air, cleared by
They do that now to Ryan. Lays it back for Scott. Really sit for him. He turns sharply onto the right. Scott. Just over the top. It wasn't a bad.
This guy tries to get past Lehman. Instead knocks it to Douse. Douse back in the box, nearly to Kansos. Crucial header there from Paul Stevens coming from Easton. Lets in Malungala and got a bit too much arm. And Nick Burns is not happy about the advantage not being paid. Neither is Samet. What can he do with the delivery? It's a delicious bowl in. Cuts for the second effort. Brennan can't quite get a foot on it. Trying to get on the right. Can't get it away. It's a scrap in the box and eventually whack clear. Does manage to find a team.
That one. He launches the long throw. Flicked on well near post. Oh, somehow stays out. Then volleyed into the back of the net. The whistle had gone though. McDonald, the Warriors, Hill sharply turns into space as the mountain. Very dexterous stuff. He's passed a poor one though. Did Jack Ryan no favours. Gathered by Stalker.
Well, won't give him too big picture.
As this one's worked in towards Jack Ryan. Heavy touch from the Englishman. Just took him well away from goal. Really hard to track it down and prevent it going out. In the end, it gets it to Kansos, who drives one straight at the keeper. And McDonald gets the mitts up and keeps it out, but not too far.
Back underway.
That is some epic work from our producer Ash there. Hopefully getting some sound effects from the pitch side this half. I'm not sure if he will or not, but geez, the hustle was real from our producer there. Has stormed down to the camera and back and just made the kick-off there. Hopefully it worked anyway. Play resuming here with Vandermeer getting himself into a little bit of trouble. Danny Cohen really taking full advantage with a curling left foot effort. It's never going to trouble McDonald. And there's been one change at least. I can see Warren Waddell out there for the Warriors. Just trying to...
No,
I think it might be Paul Stevens and Lucas Hill's gone into centre back.
I reckon you're right.
Yeah, and Mearns has shifted back centrally. So just perhaps fixing that slight imbalance. And yeah, it looks like Stevens is the one who's been replaced by Wadawu in half-time break. I don't think the Lions have made any switches. Not immediately obvious if they have, anyway. So good to see Warren Wadawu back out there. Obviously been a staple of this Warriors team for years now. Has had a pretty bad run of injuries, but good to see him back out there this evening, looking to make an impact on the right. Malungalo won't head down the right on this occasion, though. He goes left for Mearns. Drops it off for Lehman. Just try and set it out in front of Scott, but allow Dowse, who's been impressive so far tonight, to cut that one off. Throw in short to Scott. Scott trying to combine here with Malungalo, but they've coughed it up. And Kansos will take away, rolling a foot over the ball. Vandermeer gets a foot in. Samet to Mearns. Mearns out to Lucas Hill. And I think Mearns will probably be happier operating centrally in the second half as Jacob Lehman looks to have a run here. Plays a 1-2 with Malungala. Couldn't quite complete that one though. Dowse punching it down the line for Danny Cohen. And Cohen's got the right side of Vandermeer, but McDonald got out there just in time. It was good work from Danny Cohen, but he just couldn't quite reach it in the end.
Just is the right word for that. Colin McDonald only got in front of Cohen there by about 0.1 of a second as that one's heaved down the line in the Ryan direction. Easton and Smithy Sharples will clear. There's an intelligent ball down the side. Cohen read the spin a bit better than Vandermeer and just got goal side of the defender. But I think after he got around that tussle, McDonald had time enough to get out and claim. It was Lehman. Does find Vandermeer. Nick Mearns dropping back to where the centre backs are. It's a lot more natural sight than seeing him out in the left wing. Samet goes up against his former teammate, Lucas Hill. Throw in. Doesn't aim for Steele, instead just goes down the line, turns it over. With Darwood with a lovely turn away, but Steele tries to claim. Eventually does fall to the Warriors. It was an intelligent ball, but just sent a bit too far out in front of Ryan. Mearns striding forward. Now be the Lions to play out from the back. It's Scott. It's Smithy Sharples. And Cuthbertson as well. Has a look up and plays a lovely ball straight to the feet of Jacob Lehman. And he exchanges passes with Malungala. Again, we see with the Lions, they'll play around slowly at the back and then just seem to run out of patience almost.
Smithy Sharples forced to defend here. Touch from Downs and then sends the pass in towards the impressive Steele. He switches the direction up. It's wide there for Joel Samet, galloping into space. The former Warriors fullback against his team as of about a week ago. Here's Kansos, skipping free of Ladich. Worked it to Easton. Strong sliding challenge there from Mearns. This one will just halt for Wadawu. Clears the area and in the end, Scott just couldn't quite bring it under his spell. Couldn't quite reload and get that spell of sustained pressure that still the Warriors were able to dial up on a few occasions. Been more quick hits and counter-attacks from the Lions created their best moments in this match as Scott rolls this one back to Lucas Hill. And I think Spotty's versatility definitely in his best position there at centre-back. That's where he plays his best football and has the biggest impact on the contest. He switches this one across to Lehman. On the near touchline, Lehman looks up and then swings it in towards Jack Ryan. Good strong defensive play from Cuthbertson. Thompson comes in and just flicked over the top from Wadawu and gathered by Stalker.
Again, the Warriors really trying to play and get their fullbacks in on the action as well when they can have the slow build up as Mearns chests that one down and Scott goes back to Lehman. Now to Vandermeer. Again, we can see the urgency with Lucas Hill trying to switch the play. He really, I think, wants his teammates to do the same. As Lehman finds Malungala. The 2-14's going at it. Now Lehman jinking inside. Jacob Lehman trying to lead the Lions defenders a merry dance. Good touch from Malungala. Steele eventually gets in the way. And Cuthbertson sends that one clear. But it'll give the Warriors time to reset. And Scott. Chip ball looking for Malungala. Douse coming across using his body well. Manages to win the free kick. Does Keenan Douse, who's been really impressive here tonight. Plenty of runs down the touchline. And Stalker finds the feet of Brennan, but just miscontrolled that one. Did the winger. Scott and Ladich goes sliding in. It'll be interesting to see what the referee decides here. Ladich made the first move and Scott came in over the top. Miscontrolled that one. Well, look at the replay. Hill was knocked it to Ladich. Just set it in front of him and Scott's come charging in from the other side. Ladich has clearly got there. Well, there isn't a lot wrong there, Joel Scott. On first look.
Kind of tumbled over the top of him.
Yeah, he
really vanished into thin air.
Yeah, and he certainly didn't go in with studs raised, which we have seen in situations like that in the past.
To me, he just seemed to be trying to get out of the way from a pretty strong challenge from Ladich anyway. There was also another one off the ball. Lucas Hill taking a tumble as well. Calling for the free kick, but play resuming here and the Mountain punching this one back to Lehman. The Lions looking well organised, camp back in defence again, but they are going to have to chase the game at some point. I do think, whilst it's 1-0 though, probably still well served to try and pick them on the counter and play the way that has made them competitive so far tonight. Here's Cameron Steele. We'll knock it back into the middle here to Dominic Easton, the youngster. To Douse. Charged down by Malungala. Throw in, going the way of Douse. Doesn't really have anyone offering for him now. Jacob Brennan presents an option. Can Kansos get in behind Lehman? Lehman dealt with that nicely. Took a sizable old divot in the process.
Sticking up like a skate ramp initially, that one.
Replace your divots, thank you, Phil.
Not quite.
Bit of etiquette, thanks, gentlemen.
I'm trying to think who that was at Darcy Street on the weekend that completely ripped one out. I think it was Lascano or Mulroney, as we see a substitution. Malungala off, and it's the king of the handles, Joffrey Nkoso, probably the most informed player in this Olympia Warriors lineup coming on. We'll see what he can do with the majority of the second half.
Keenan Douse not exactly thrilled with his options here. Eventually goes to Kansos, holding off the attentions of Scott. Laid it back to Steele. A chance to swing one in. Just dwelt on it a moment instead. Douse shut down by Mearns. And Koso's first involvement in the game here is to just try and take on Keenan Douse. Wasn't having a bar of it. Nicely defended there by the Lions fullback. They've coughed it up here, the Warriors. Surging in was Brannon. And Ladich sweeping across the back. Will clean things up. Look at Thompson. Risky pass. Showed far too much of that to Kansos. Danny Cohen trying to find some room. Well done, Vandermeer. Was strong twice. And now Wadawu swings it over the top for Jack Ryan. Couldn't get the better of Scut, though. Doesn't get what he was looking for from the official. Play continues. The Lions against just driving it forwards quickly. Now they'll play it for Kansas, who did a hopeful ball. No one had made the run, and that's going to box them in expertly. That's perfection.
That is almost the perfect punt there from Phil Kansas.
Rugby union players, pinpoint precision like that, are getting paid millions a year. Great field position. Now we will get the alternate judge. That's great
proper.
from Lehman. Yeah, that's good for yards.
The AR is clearly there to say, go to the right of him. He just runs straight in front of him.
Doesn't give him the chance. He does it at such speed, you can't possibly question it, Paul. He's doing it again. It's the run-up.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, well done.
That's how you get out of being pressed up the pitch there. Very nicely done by Jacob Lehman. The battle will continue for real in the midfield here, and the Lions trying to fight their way back into it. That pass will elude Steele and spin out on the left wing there. Quickly taken. Steele surrounded by Warriors, so just opts to knock it back to Scott. Sliding in was Easton and Scott, and then picked up by Jono Ladich coming through. His pass will make Jack Ryan retreat to track back and get it. Really the service the big Englishman was after there. He'll keep a hold of the ball through Scott. Thompson. And out for a throw in.
It will be Thompson to take on the far side. As with Darwo. Corner conceded by Samet. Warriors' third corner of the match. Imagine Scott would stride over to take this one. Again, probably going to have to do the majority of his own ball retrieval here tonight at the Den. Be the Englishman to take. Plenty of tall timber in the box to aim for. Gets good height on that one and nearly hits the head of a teammate. Ladich out the back, whips it back in. Vandermeer can't quite get there. Wadawa's there, turn and shot. Oh, he's put it in. The substitute on at half time. Warren Wadawa just turns delightfully on that one and rifles it into the back of the net.
Yeah, what a way to mark his return. Warren Wadawa hasn't taken him long. 12 minutes in and he finds the back of the net here. It was chipped in. It was a good secondary ball from Ladich. Just deflected, and it's just a snapshot on the turn and just catches Stalker out. Wasn't anticipating the shot to come on the turn like that. That's inspired stuff from Wadawa, and fantastic to see him back out there. He's been such a reliable player as the postman, and he has delivered here a second goal for the Olympia Warriors. They go 2 goals to the good.
Yeah, one of the longest serving players in NPL Tas. One of the nicest people in NPL Tas as well, Warren Wadawu. Great to see him back on the score sheet, and we'll see what the Warriors can do again. It's Mearns with a delightful through ball. Jack Ryan! Oh, he's put it wide. The Englishman pretty much could have put the sealer on that one, and he's just dragged the shot in the end.
Well, this will concern Greg Calvert, because we saw early in the first half last week against Knights, they conceded 2 in the blink of an eye, and that was them done. They conceded 1 almost immediately after a second. It was nearly the exact same thing here, repeating itself down at the Den a week later. Ryan, really a striker of his quality, should be hitting the back of the net there. That's a real let-off for Mitch Stalker, and the Lions have just got to watch themselves here, because they seem to be making a little bit of a habit of conceding in patches, which is not the type of thing you want to be doing too irregularly. But Wadawu, the goal scorer, winning the ball back, and fairly aimless ball in the end, but with Fresh and Koso coming on, they're going to be under pressure at the back and chasing 2 goals now. They might well be a little bit more exposed down there too. So they're going to have to come out of their shells a little. They're not going to be able to camp back so deep with that back 5. And the midfield, I suppose Easton's almost made it a back 6 at times with how deep he's been dropping. It's going to be very tough for them now. And Olympia well on course on the live ladder. They'll be back in top spot. And I I think that's a fair chance that's where they're going to end the night. Of course, we'll have played 2 more games than the unbeaten Devonport Strikers, who on Sunday definitely showed they are the team everyone is chasing. So they claimed another victory, although South Hobart will probably feel they probably should have taken something from that one.
Yeah, I think they'll be stewing over that one for a while, South Hobart.
It's the importance of a goalkeeper on full display. There's been, if you look at the history of the league winners, there's not too often that their goalkeeper hasn't been the best in the competition that year. And from what we've seen so far this year, you'd have to say Pitchford sitting number 1 on the power rankings.
Yeah, I was just trying to go through.
Conceded 1 goal.
I was just trying to go through the last time it would have been the only one. I think it was Sheikh Kamara at Kingborough. And a really good season. Everything goes haywire up here in the media box. Ladich can't get in front of that one. It's Brennan. Trying to battle against the Mountain. The Mountain usually wins that one. It'll be Thompson to recover. Ladich. Substitute. The topic of goalkeepers just gets us too rolled up, Andrew. You get too passionate about it.
I think that had more to do with me treading on a cord, but we'll go with that. Very passionate about the goalkeeping.
No, but it was a fantastic save for Pitchford, and on replay, that save looks better and better. I walked out of the ground on Sunday thinking his first half save was potentially better, but that one in the 92nd minute, just for the impact it had, will be one that goes down as one of the saves of the season.
That first half one was very impressive too, but the standard of goalkeeping has been very good this year across the league, really. I think Lockie Clark's really emerging at Launceston City, and for all Clarence's struggles, I think Jake French has been absolutely tremendous for him. I mean, he's just he's being shelled on a weekly basis, and while the scores haven't been pretty for Clarence, another keeper in there, they could be even worse. So hopefully he's keeping his head up, because I think he's been absolutely outstanding down there in net, Clarence, and hasn't really done a lot wrong despite some of the scorelines. So keep ploughing away there. I think he's having a really good year. The former Zebras keeper moving for first team football and giving a very good account of himself as Scott trying to make something happen here. He shapes to shoot. Always rising, but he just gets such great purchase on those shots from range. Gets a real fizz on him. That one always rising though. But had it just stayed down, Stalker was in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, he also swerving out to the right as well. Was Stalker. Sorry. It's that one up to Cowan. And Koso doesn't get as much purchase he wants on that. And Dowse has got him behind. Wants a forward run from Brennan, who comes out. But McDonald, I don't know, starts pretty deep in his goal here when coming out to collect. Mearns battling away with Steele. And Lions come out on top of that one. Samet getting about the furthest forward we've seen him in a while. And Wadawu just manages to whack that one clear. And Samet, again, not a huge amount of options, and it's Wadawu. Now he gets it back. Steele, trying to get on his left or right. Looks like he's, well, I don't know where he's going, to be honest. Steele, good harassment in the end from the Warriors' defence, in particular Nick Mearns, and really just sent Steele down a blind alley.
Yeah, might have just been trying to buy a throw-in or a free kick or something. Nothing doing in the end as Jordan Scott smashes this one along. Ryan opts to leave that one out for Scout. Takes the throw quickly to Easton. Shifts that one to the big stalk, Cuthbertson. Kansos. Now Easton again. Scout. From out wide, they try to build, but they've coughed it straight up to the postman. Wadawu gives it to Mearns, who just rolls it on back to Lucas Hill. The Warriors, I think, will only be even happier than they were in the first half to knock the ball around the back, knowing they've got a 2-goal cushion now, and the Lions are going to press them a little, and Steele just running straight into Scott there off the ball. Paul, really enjoying that one. It was rather humorous, to be fair, as this one's blasted along. Smithy Sharples with the header. But yeah,
it's a good way.
It's explosive, wasn't it?
It's a good way to break the monotony. It was almost like a snap in NFL and a tackle and a defensive end going at each other. It was Keenan Dowse. He tried to get around in Koso, but it's going to be pulled back for a foul, giving the Warriors a free kick. And to be fair, the Warriors can just play it between Vandermeer, Hill and McDonald all night, especially if Cohen's going to be the only one to press initially. It takes a good 30 seconds to a minute for Easton or Steele or Kansas to come up. When they're in this position, I don't blame them, to be honest.
Might as well be patient as Jordan Scott swings the free kick. Headed down, shouts for handball, not paid. Kansas turns inside again. We're just getting a little foot on that. Be a throw in for Joel Samet. To get the ball moving quickly here. The Lions need to up the tempo a little. Steele can be the man. He was rather hacked down there and has plenty to say afterwards too. Getting up in the grill of Nick Mearns there. He's just laughing him off. And a free kick opportunity here for the Lions. Keenan Dowse looks to be the man to take it. I can see Chris Downs looking like he might be set to be introduced soon on the Lions bench. He's certainly giving every hint possible to his manager that he is right to go, I think. Just lurking behind him there. Standing up off the bench. He's keen, but he won't be taking this for a kick. Instead, that'll be Dowse. He's got 6 to aim for here. Swings it in. Dangerous ball over the head of Smithy Sharples and away by Vandermeer. Tracked down first by Brennan. He'll look to take on Lucas Hill here, Brennan, but Hill just defended him expertly. Slid up the line by Mearns to Nkoso. Again, looked eager to try and take on his marker, but didn't really have the room to operate in there.
As we can see, another one rocking the headband Jesus look this year, Chris Downs. Eagerly pestering the manager even, just by lurking behind him. There's no foul given on Brennan, and Koso wants to get Lehman down the line and does. Lehman now finds Nkoso. Keenan Dowse is out of position, and Lehman bombing on down the left-hand touchline. Crosses into the box, falls to Wadawu. Steele running back into his own 6-yard area there. Steele, Wadawu still hassling. And he does well to run the long way round. Does Steele. Well, eventually, I think wins the foul.
Must have.
He must have. I was thinking advantage could have been paid there, and Brennan was offering with feet.
He's been a big fan of the advantage tonight. As a double swap being prepared by the Lions here, and it's going to be Tom McDonald to come on along with Chris Downs, and they're going to be replacing, who have we got there? Phil Kansas and Jake Brennan. So a double swap there for the Lions, and Downs rocking that real Jesus type hairstyle. They do need a messiah right now, the Lions. They need a miracle. Can he be the man to deliver it? Because with 22 to play, 2-0 down, they definitely need something.
Was Downs the one who hit that free kick here in the top corner, 93rd minute? Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, no. You meant the halfway goal.
Oh, the halfway.
That was...
I know that was Downs.
That was Pearce, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Trent Pearce.
Yes, this one should be tracked down by Lehman. Went to body up first, and in the end he'll get the goal kick, but it wasn't the tidiest. But yeah, it was one of the great moments last season. Trent Pearce with the last-minute free kick, absolutely blasting it in. Got the Titanic music treatment and all, if I recall.
It certainly did.
Quite fittingly, I might say.
As Olympia take this goal kick, Lucas Hill on top of it, just in an acre of space, and then Lucas Hill plays possibly the worst pass he'll play all season.
That was bang average.
That's a pass. That's more up my street rather than someone of the talent of Lucas Hills under what can only be defined as no pressure at all.
0.
Him and Niski Van Dorn giving each other a run for their money in terms of worst moments under no pressure.
Yeah, not to have that one back from the weekend. I think as this one's swung out wide here and a chance for Joel Samet to deliver one in. He goes to the back post. Cohen! Oh, he did well to wrangle his body into position, but it was just over the top from the line. Skipper did the work on Vandermeer, but just couldn't quite direct it. Great ball from Joel Samet. That's as close as they've come.
It's a bit of a cliche, but that is the closest thing I have seen to a spawning salmon in quite some time there from Danny Cohen. Just tried to arc his body around that of Jake Vandermeer's and did get good purchase on it. It was a good ball in from Samet. As Lucas Hill plays a much better version of the pass he was trying to do 30 seconds earlier. Wadawu down the line. Scott keeps it in. Now it's Steele trying to change passes with McDonald, but that'll get broken up by Jordan Scott, who's running a close tightrope. He's got a slice of cheese here. Doesn't look like he's got one on this occasion. He's still having conversation with the referee. It won't be given one this time. Thought just based on pure accumulation to be getting close to one, Jordan Scott.
Yeah, I think Mr. McInerney can't be too far away from booking him. He's certainly been heavily involved and does love a slice of cheese, Jordan Scott. Quite the dairy enthusiast, as this one's swung in. Cuthbertson looming large, punch clear. Tom McDonald at the top of the box, blasted away by Mearns. Now a one-on-one between Ryan and Easton. It's the youngster up against the Englishman. Did pretty well, Jack Ryan. Laid it back to his compatriot, who just sent it out too far ahead of him, but he goes back and tracks it down. Tried the cross in, that was shut off. Thompson to Mearns, turning onto the trusty right. Dawu quick to retreat back. Vandermeer. Lehman. Back to Vandermeer. Vandermeer with the direct option to Jack Ryan, brings it down in stride. He's offside as he clinically buries it, but the flag had been raised.
So the first offside of the match, just looking over by Jacob's shoulder, it looks like it was 72 minutes in. And Ryan finally getting into good positions. Here as the game's opening up slightly as Mearns turns away from McDonald. And Koso to Lehman. Mearns still offering. Good flick there from Mearns and gets unceremoniously clipped by Smithy Sharples. Have another look at that. There's a good flick there from Mearns. Smithy Sharples really wanted to break up that play. Again, the Warriors in absolutely no hurry to take this. And now we're they've passed the test with the throw-in. They're now doing it with free kicks in their D licence. That's what they're doing.
Bit of sock maintenance going on there from Jackie Lehman, or is it all just a ruse to give him the chance to swing across in? Looks like Jordan Scott will pump one in instead. He goes in the direction of Wadawu, chested down in the middle of the box, and Koso laid it off. Steal away, thumping drive, straight back down the throat of the keeper. Didn't really make the contact he was after. Quick release from Stalker. Cohen flicked on. And Lucas Hill back to his keeper before Downs can get in there and impact the contest.
And Kennett's on out to Ladich, who's going to go a bit more direct here to Wadawu. Can he keep it in? The postman can. Oh, can he deliver? He can deliver a nice ball, but Nkoso had run just a little bit further to the near post. Drawing a round of applause from his bench, though, for that effort was Wadawu. And then Douse looking down the line towards Cohen. He's put a bit too much sauce on that one. And McDonald can comfortably claim. Steele running up to him. So he has to pick it up. Thompson just keeps it in. Again down the line towards Ryan. Good defensive play from the Lions. It's now McDonald. Cuthbertson wants to play it out wide, but Mearns Slides in and intercepts. Wants to go to the far side and does through Thompson, who's storming it on goal. Thompson fires it into the Lions' defence, knocks it back. Cool finish from Nicholas Mearns. He has bossed the midfield here this evening and now gets himself on the score sheet.
Yeah, very nice finish and a very nice move this from the Warriors. Thompson cutting it back. Takes a somewhat fortunate deflection and he gets a second attempt. This time lays it on a platter for Mearns and he just passes it into the back of the net. Always nice when they're the type of finishes you get there from Nicholas Mearns. And 3-0 the score. The Warriors starting to get a little bit of emphasis on the scoreboard. And that looks like young Brayton Allen, I can see now, shot there, is about to come on for a bit of a run out late. And probably Jack Ryan. Yep, Big Ryan going to be replaced by him. Put the big fella in cotton wool for future battles to come. Another chance for Allen, who scored a couple of goals against Riverside recently. 15 to go, 3-0. Nick Mearns has surely iced this one now. Can't think there's any way back for the Lions at this point.
No, I certainly don't think so either. It's not been a bad performance by the Lions here tonight, but just a few moments of class from the Warriors have shone through as Downs wants to collect that one, but Vandermeer gets in front. Steele v Scott has been a really good battle in the midfield. Now Allen trying to play it down the line to Nkoso, but beaten out from Keenan Dowse. Actually just managed to knock it out of play straight away. Did the Warriors winger. Throw in down the line only as far as Lehman. Allen. Clearance fell fortuitously to Mearns. It's now Steele, who's clearly tripped by Scott, and surely he has to go in the book. Oh, Steele throwing the ball into the ground in disgust, as I think the referee was slightly hesitating over giving Scott a slice of cheddar there. A big cheesy grin on Jordan Scott's face. He's very happy with how this is turning out. And now Steele has got himself in the book for that. Just slamming the ball down.
Says, I'll deal with him. You go back there, and then turns around and says, now, about that thumping the ball into the turf. You can have some as well. Yeah, Cameron Steele. So, Jordan Scott with another booking. So, I'm not sure what he's up to accumulation-wise, but he'd be in dangerous areas, I suspect, Jordan Scott. Just have a look at that one.
Yeah.
He's been in the book a few times, I think, the Englishman.
I was going to say, if they've played, what's their 8th game of the season? Yeah, he'd be dangerously close. As after all that, Kingborough are eventually going to send Downs back. Any opportunity for a quick free kick went, so you might as well put your best set-piece taker out there. And Kingborough, in their defence, they've sent a lot of players forward here, as that one's in the towards Scott. Headed away. It's now McDonald against Wadawu. Really wants to get on his right foot, does McDonald. Eventually does. Short ball into Steele, who eventually gets it in. Mearns clears. That's a short ball. We'll give Brayton Allen the opportunity to run into. He's got, well, he threw the step over, but Dominic Easton, a lovely challenge, and then beats him again. Easton getting some minor points over Brayton Allen there, as Vandermeer whacks that one clear. Downs in an unfamiliar right back roll temporarily. Ladich with a cute back heel in, gets cleaned up afterwards. Advantage played. And Koso down the right hand side. Scott making his way into the box. Allen's there as well. And Koso back to Thompson. Eventually cleared. The Mountain. Lucas Hill will now gallop forward. His cleanest Christmas pass he's ever made. Cohen bursting down the left-hand side. It's Captain Danny Cohen storming into the box. Help eventually arriving on the cutback. He's hit it, chested down and whacked it. Goal blocked. Dowse sets it over the top. Well, it's one of the better opportunities the Lions have had so far this evening. Cohen getting in behind. It just still couldn't quite hit the target.
Keenan Dowse made sure this ball stayed hit. Absolutely smoking this one. Trying to pick out the top corner. Pretty small window he's trying to pick out there. Wasn't too far away, but plenty of Warriors bodies back in the way. He was always going to take something pretty spectacular, and he went for it. But, couldn't quite pull it off as Olympia, who've got the weekend off before a busy Easter period for them. Of course, Glenorchy Knights in the Lacka Seljuk Cup. I think that one on Good Friday, if I recall. Kingborough also playing on the Good Friday. They've got Devonport, so those games will be on then. And then NPL catch-up games on Easter Monday. We've got Zebras taking on Devonport, and we've got Kingborough Riverside and Clarence Riverside, Kingborough City, sorry, all the catch-up games from round one. So busy times ahead for these sides in the NPL, and I think Olympia will just relish having this weekend off just to freshen up. And look, I expect Devonport will take care of business on the weekend and go back in a top spot, but I think they'd be pretty happy to be able to just have the weekend off sitting in top.
Oh, I think they would be. The Warriors, a few days sitting on top is always nice at any time of the season, but yeah, that Easter period, bumper to bumper football, and then also Anzac Day not long after that as well. It is all happening that weekend, and all we can hope for on Easter Monday is the most dullest day weather-wise in Hobart possible, really. No heat, no complete other end of the spectrum of storms, just something dull.
Yeah, obviously a massive Anzac Day at North Hobart Oval. Big doubleheader on that one. That's a nice little move from Smithy Sharples to break into some space there. But you've got Olympia and Knights and South Hobart Zebras get along to North Hobart on Anzac Day. That's going to be a fantastic doubleheader, that one. As Downs lays this one back. Swinging ball straight to Brayton Allen, whose touch went to McDonald. Keenan Dowse has battled hard again, been impressed with him. Chris Downs, got a bit of room as they sit off, worked it back to Dowse. Dowse just showed far too much of it to Warren Wadawu though. Allen, Koso, controls, and now we'll have a little bit of a run, throws in a customary step over it, and gets hacked down from behind, and a free kick in a pretty good position here for Jordan Scott, I would suspect.
Didn't really need to make that challenge in the end. There was a wall of a pride of lines all around.
Dominic Easton going into the book there.
Yeah, it was Easton making that challenge. Just didn't really need to. We'll see what Mearns or Scott has over the dead ball. Again, no huge rush to take from the Warriors. Kingborough backing up on Saturday. They got...
Oh, it doesn't get any easier for them. They've got the toughest trip in Tasmania
football.
Football.
Go to Valley Road, are they?
They're up in Devonport on the weekend, so certainly the tough games keep coming for the Kingborough Lions, trying to get their season back on track, but tough games coming. As Scott steps up and he bends one, and it's a good save from Stalker. Gets across and gets two solid palms to it behind for a corner. But yeah, they've got Devonport in the league, and then they've got them again in the cup. So it doesn't get much more difficult than that.
A pretty difficult month of April all round for the Lions. As we see the wind picking up a tad on the far side. Scott elects to lay it short, and then Downs gets a foot in. Easton. Mearns drops the shoulder, drops it again. Tries to go around, smashes it near post, deflected, and it's ended up in the back of the net. I think that's young Thompson stealing in the 6-yard box. And it deflected off the Kingborough player. And again, another snapshot, just puts it in the bottom corner. And that's 4-0 to the Warriors. It just fell right into his lap there.
Yeah, that just landed very nicely. It fell in his lap indeed. He says, "Oh, thank you very much." I think that's his first NPL Tasmania goal, and he bags it there. And yeah, just a snapshot of the near post, just deflected right into his path, and gets the tap in. And 4-0 now. The scoreline rather bleak viewing for Kingborough side, who in the first half had fought pretty well, giving good account of themselves, but they've been overrun in this second half. The class of the Warriors just starting to shine through, and showing just why they're about to move back in to top spot, albeit with a fairly decent asterisk of having played 2 more games than Devonport. But they've shown they're going to be there when the whips are cracking this year. Douse was trying to do it all on his own in the end, and the numbers there for the Warriors. McDonald pressured by Danny Cowan. Well, he's not going to stop working till the final whistle. That man, he doesn't know any other way. One of the hardest working players in the state, as this one's swung and dealt with down to Douse. Douse couldn't combine with Downs. Might deflect nicely for Cowan. Instead landed on Hill's head. Now it falls for Danny Cowan, and it's going to be brought back. And a free kick there, and clutching at his arm there.
Trying to Lanich.
Very high boost. Yes, missed that one live for you, but very, very high boot indeed. Giving the arm there of Lanich, and not too often he gets studded on the forearm, I don't think.
No, unless you're getting one of those awkward positions where you just have to be laying on the ground, it's very rare to have it while standing up. And that's free kicks. One of the first ones to really been subjected to the slope here this evening. Really turned and went hard left. Good leg spinner from that free kick. Douse hits that one to Downs, giving away to Wadawu. Now looking for Mearns. Hasn't got a huge amount of options in the box. Trying to play it out. That's surely a foul. Advantage given from the referee. Steele. Lovely raking ball towards Samet. Wants to knock it back inside and does. Downs is the furthest forward. That's the area he goes to, but the Mountain read that one like a book, and he's still charging on. This is the Mountain. Lucas Hill at right wing and puts in a cross more akin to that of a centre back in the end.
Yeah, not his best work as the Lions trying to play it out from the back and make something happen the other way. Cuthbertson, the big stalk. That's a nice pass for Douse. Danny Cowan on offer down the line. That's where he heads. Cowan turning goalward and then just flicked it to Douse, who was riding shotgun, and then just got the cross horribly wrong, and frustration there for Douse. He's worked his socks off. Hasn't gotten too many more promising positions than that throughout the game, despite all his toil, and he's finally got there. He's just wasted it, and he's put in some good balls tonight.
He has.
From tougher situations than that.
Yeah, he almost had too much of an open area there, so we're just looking at Nick Mearns stretching out the leg muscle. He'll be one player thankful for the upcoming week off. Here's Mearns. You always get instinctively worried when he starts looking at his knee and hobbling, but we assume it's just cramp at this stage. It was McDonald directing traffic. Launches that one in the Mearns direction. Plenty of time for Scott to get the header down. McDonald. Now Steele. Plays it inside to Easton. And Keenan Douse is still hugging the touchline. Tried to go inside to Downs. Beaten out there was Smithy Sharples. And they're going to bring it back for the initial foul.
Love a little bit of trapping the ball between the legs of Dominic Easton there. One way to try and stop Joffrey and Koso.
So we have a look at that on replay. Yeah, look, can't do much more than that when you've managed to snag it between your knees.
Jordan Scott over the dead ball. Just 2 minutes left in regulation down here at the Den now. Looking like another successful night for the Olympia Warriors, who a couple earlier on, but pretty sharp over the last few weeks. Obviously, the draw with Hobart Zebras, they'll certainly feel they should have taken 3 points that day. Probably had a strong case. The only real time this year where they haven't been the best team was against the Devonport Strikers up at Valley Road, 1-0 that day. And it's the only team that's really managed to get a hold of them at all. Certainly looking every bit the title contenders, the Warriors, this year. Wadawu won't quite get to this one. So he's only just coming back into the fold now and got him back to full fitness. It'll be another weapon in attack. And within Koso and Ryan, they've got some goals in this side. Young Malungala showed a bit tonight. Vandermeer back to McDonald. Hasn't been overly tested on his return to the seniors after missing the week there with his red card. Just a last man one, so only the 1 week for that.
Yeah, he hasn't had a huge amount to do tonight. Has McDonald. Olympia just line up, especially, it seems a bit more settled. Obviously, they've rotated a fair bit tonight, but they played the majority of the same back four for pretty much every game prior to tonight. And that midfield trio of Ladich, Burns and Scott are only going to get better the more they play with each other. As we'll see Lehman knock it back to Vandermeer. For the Lions, it'll be another quick turnaround for their hard road trip. And it'll be interesting to see what tactics they employ up at Devonport, whether they go with this 5-4-1 again that they started off with tonight. As we'll see Allen jinking inside, hasn't got a lot of options forward. Burns was in a good pocket of space, finds with Dawu, and Koso had peeled off. Now falls to Nick Mearns. There's a player on the far side and goes towards Thompson.
He's offside.
And he is as well for the second offside in this whole game.
They've not been frequent occurrences, have they?
Guess when probably because Kingborough have sat back a fair bit.
Yeah, played a pretty deep line, especially in that first half.
Yeah, high press hasn't been something we've seen a lot of here this evening.
No, certainly not a night where defenders have been overly pressured.
Burns' late push on Steele will bring the foulers are into the 91st minute. A couple of goals and most subs will probably see us have 3 minutes here. No fourth official board to stare at here tonight. Zinkoso. Irons Brayton Allen. He'd be well pressed to try and take on the defender here, but instead plays it inside. And Koso's going to keep going for this one, but ball's overhit. That might be one of the last chances the Warriors get in their attacking 18-yard area for this evening.
So it's going to be a job well done for Olympia, who'll be back on top of the NPL Tasmania table. As we get into another weekend of fixtures. Lovely run from Keenan Dowse. That was a sharp move. Can he find a teammate in the middle? It was a great ball too. It just wouldn't land in the end. Steele who hits the deck, but great play, Keenan Dowse. That was fantastic work. He's been really good again tonight. Been a great little pickup for this Kingborough team. Wasn't really getting frequent minutes, or thought he'd get the minutes he was after at South Hobart this year, so they've brought him down the den. Been a good contributor. Stalker, I guess, knew he had the yardage behind him and let that one run, but it was a risky game, that.
Depth perception you probably had on the watching on the screen there at home. He did have a good 18-20 yards to play with there, as it's another lovely bit of skill from the opposing fullback, Samet. Cohen goes near post. Downs was there lurking. Vandermeer clears that one and then gets a good demonstration from Joel Samet about retrieving your own ball at that side of the park.
Trying to find a consolation marker here, the Lions. Showing a little bit of urgency. This is the game well away from them. This is probably going to be the last attack of the game. They're going to get a free kick. So this surely will be the last chance for any goal action in the game. Chris Downs across to take, and someone who's more than capable.
Bring the keeper up.
Oh, why not at this point? 4-0, 5-0, what's the difference? 4-1, 4-0 now, there's the difference. Well,
with a keeper scoring.
I tell you what, that would be a moment that he sure could get up there, but unfortunately he appears camped back in his own half, which is, sensible, but not really what we're wanting to see up here. That's not what we're for.
Judging by the amount of writing going on there, that's maybe a yellow card handed out. McElwaney was furiously writing in his notebook there for a while.
Yeah, not too sure who did get the booking in the end, as Downs will swing this one. It's a great ball too, and it's stuck through the wall and into the back of the net. I don't think anyone got a touch on that, and I think that's going to be Chrissy Downs who claims the goal and grabs the consolation marker for the Lions late on.
We'll have to have another look at that. There was good pace on the delivery from the free kick maestro, Chris Downs. And I think you're right. I don't think it's gone all the way in. It's just whether we can credit the goal to him or whether it's another own goal. As we have a look, that has gone right through the breadbasket of Kyle McDonald. Probably frozen to the spot Walt Disney style there after a relatively quiet 93.5 minutes for the keeper. But one he'd like back.
Well, I suppose if you're going to make a howler, it may as well be.
True. Just getting that one, that average one out for the season.
4-0 up, but I don't think he'll be seeing it that way, and I'm sure it's a little play on his mind. Obviously, coming back from a game where he's been red carded and sent off inside the opening half hour for a bit of a mental error there, and then letting one in at the death. I mean, it's not gonna matter at all, even in the slightest, really. Although, you know, if goal difference comes to determine it, maybe, who knows? That's a long way down the track, but look, one they should be able to shake off, but concerning, I think.
Yeah, I just had massive shades of Massimo Taibbi there upon seeing that live.
You've lost me there.
As soon as Schmeichel retired, one of the terrible Manchester United keepers after that, who let a very small rolling ball just go straight through the breadbasket like that.
Yeah, right. Schmeichel's successes.
Yeah, that long list of unsuccessful ones.
So they're after the great Timmy Howard. As this one's going to be swung in by Scott again. Can the Warriors respond in kind? It's off the head of Cuthbertson, I think. So it'll be another corner from the opposite flank.
And we might as well just keep playing as well. A lot of free football going on here. I'm not sure if they realise what the time is and how far I have to drive back home after this.
Well, we haven't quite reached Copra territory just yet. We got to 99 minutes in that Zebras Devonport game last year. Still don't know how. Thoroughly enjoyed the theatre of it. I think everyone at the ground enjoyed the theatre of it, but don't know where it came from. And it's a little bit the same. Not sure we should be going 97 minutes, but I suppose there's been a few goals. There's been a goal in stoppage time. This one's curled in near post, flicked onto the back. Depth perception throwing me there as this one's played out the back. And Ladich fizzes one in and it falls into the path of Scott, who drives into the side netting. He was onside, Scott. That was a chance to add a fifth. Didn't take it.
Yeah, and I think finally he's blown the whistle there, McElvady.
Yes, there it is. The final whistle has rung out around Lightwood Park. And the visitors will walk away with 3 valuable points. Olympia back on top of the NPL Tasmania table. But that might only be a short-term arrangement. Devonport will be looking to reclaim it when they play this Kingborough side on Saturday. So a short turnaround for them. Olympia, they get a weekend off to prepare for those 2 games against Glenorchy Knights they've got coming up, which is going to be a massive Easter period. We have a look at the goals, and, well, Kingborough were pretty good value in that first half. They were well and truly taking it up to Olympia, had a few chances of their own. Unfortunately, a big centre-half, the Stork Cuthbertson, just nodded one past his own keeper there to get things rolling, and that was the breakthrough that really it was the turning point in the game.
It certainly was, as we have a look at the impact sub, Warren Wadawu, that turn and shot. Yeah, very good awareness to know where the goal was. He's back to it. And that put Olympia 2-0 up. They nearly had a third about 30 seconds after that.
Should have.
As well, through Ryan, but they eventually got that third. It was Thompson playing it in, and then Mearns storming into the box from central midfield, unmarked. And put that one in the bottom corner for 3.
I love those goals. The central midfielder crashing the box late, doesn't break stride and just passes it into the back of the net. And then there you go, Thompson. That just fell for him beautifully. Opened his eyes. Don't know if he rubbed a genie lamp or something. Had a wish, but bang, just appeared for him. And he said, "Thank you, I'll have some of that."
You won't get
4-0.
You won't get an easier first NPL goal than that one, really. And then Chris Downs' delivery. It was good. But
the keeping was not.
We do have some question marks over the effort from the goalkeeper there. But in the end, 4-1 to Olympia, and probably a thoroughly deserved victory for the Warriors, I think.
Yep, they'll walk away the happier of the 2 teams. And as we said, on top of the NPL Tasmania table, as it stands, ahead of the rest of round 9's fixtures to come. That's all from us down here at the Den tonight. It's been a pleasure bringing this one to you. Until next time, it's bye for now.